You mentioned to me moments ago just defense. Defense has been the big thing that stood out to you this game. What part of the game defensively stands out to you the most tonight?
Everybody was just filling in the gaps, and everyone was helping each other. So obviously they have some talented players, Clyde, Harden. So it's a team effort, not a one-man job, and I feel like we did that, collectively great.
You've been sort of playing as a complimentary player this season. You've got a lot of big voices or big personalities in the locker room, and then there's you. I mean, is this just sort of who you are that you'll be glad to sort of quietly do it in the background, get yours, go home?
I get the job done, and I do whatever I can to, help the team win. I know every night's gonna be different. Some nights might be, more scoring. Some nights might be more rebounding. Depending on whatever the team needs, I'm here and I'm gonna try and do it.
But you and Bam were able to set up, I guess, early in the game, attack mode and kind of do what you did early in the game. How much easier do you see that make it on Norm and Tyler on the edges to kind of do their thing later in the game?
For sure, I feel like when everyone's scoring, I feel like it opens, the floor for everybody. Everyone's in a good rhythm. The ball is moving, and everyone has space to do their thing.
It was in terms of a team high for 24 made threes. Can you just kind of talk about what led to that? Obviously, the last 4 or 5 minutes of last game was great, and then kind of carrying that into what led to that?
Good shots. We're all getting each other open, getting each other good shots, and we be in the gym shooting a lot. As a team, and I know a lot of guys come in individually, but I feel like we're in a good rhythm. When we play fast, play together, we can do anything.
Davion, you guys were able to get things done on both sides of the ball. Just what impressed you most about your team's performance tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think the beginning of the game, I just think that we were active on both ends of the floor. I think that we kind of made it hard for James, just kind of made it tough for him. My teammates was kind of in the gaps, and everyone was in the backside. I just feel like everyone was active defensively. They kind of started up an offense.
Spo said it a couple days ago or yesterday. Bam said it again today. They described you as the head of the snake of this group. Just what does it mean to you to be just described as that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm up there guarding the ball up top, so I gotta bring the energy. As I'm bringing the energy, if I bring the energy, my teammates bring the energy, and it kind of just turns us up. So that's my job every night.
You guys tied a franchise record, 24 made threes tonight. What allowed you guys to find so much success behind the arc?
Just moving the ball. I think that we're just making the right plays each time. We're shooting with confidence. I think that the energy from the defense kind of gave us energy from offense, and we just kept sharing the ball.
Davion, we know you took a lot of pride in your defense, but we've seen some pretty impressive stuff over the last few games. Do you feel like it's reaching an even another level this season, possibly?
Yeah, I mean, I work on my game every day. I'm confident in my game. I kind of just try to make the right play every time. Get my teammates wide open shot. If I'm open, I shoot it. So I don't really make the game that hard for me.
Spo was saying good teams don't lose 2 in a row at home. How much of a point was it that you guys had to get one back after?
Yeah, we don't want to lose it all at home. It's kind of just trying to be our goal. Obviously, we dropped a couple games, but I think we're trying to make it really hard to play here. Every team that comes through here, we try to have energy and just kind of just show that home court advantage.
Davion, obviously you have a big voice, personality. Then you get a guy like Wiggs, who also does it, and you almost don't notice and just prefers to be in the shadows. What can you say about a guy like him who is willing to perform in the shadows, do it quietly, but yet contribute so much?
Yeah, I mean, he's just a guy that leads by example. He's kind of been that, even with the Warriors, kind of been that guy that was just under the radar, but he always just so effective on both ends of the floor. I mean, he works extremely hard. He's a really big piece for us, guarding the best players, getting rebounds. He's out in transition, hitting tough shots in the fourth quarter. That's kind of just been his game. So he's just a guy that leads by example.
Playing this playmaking role in this new offense, how much of it is just finding a trailer like Norm?
I mean, I think I just try to make the game easy and look for my teammates, get them open looks, get them open lanes. I feel like me and Norm have a really good chemistry. Even when we looked at each other, he knew exactly what I was about to do. So it's kind of just been a thing over the season that we kind of just been working on.
Obviously, many things to like about this type of performance, but what can you just say about the defensive activity this game compared to what we got into compared to last game for sure, especially from guys like Wiggins and you and everybody else?
I mean, you see how active we were. And that was the biggest thing. We were active. Everybody was active. Everybody was in the gaps. Everybody was, making them try to think. And, that's the good thing about this team, man. When we play like that, it's hard to beat us.
Knowing what the priorities are around here with, defense always, of course, and just the way this team played your first 8 years, did you ever think you would be on a team that led the league in scoring and scored 140 like every third game or whatever you guys are doing?
No. But, we have a team and a system that obviously it's took a long summer to build this. But, and then you look at the past 2 years and, Spo just scrapped the book. It was like, this is how we're going to play. We're going to play totally different. We want to play fast, we want to play with pace. And, we built a team that could sustain that. Like, when we play together and we share the game, like, our whole, what was it? Like, almost our whole starting five almost got 20 points. Like, that's really sharing the game. And obviously on the other end, we were activated.
Spo said about the starting five, that was a good response from you guys tonight. What do you feel like you guys did better, maybe compared to Saturday? And just what's the potential of that group once you guys, get in the flow and get Tyler fully integrated?
I mean, you see it. Like, when we're activated and we're talking and we're flying up and down the court and getting steals and playing in transition, like I said, we're a hard team to beat, and it can be anybody's night. Tonight, it was everybody's night. So that's the good thing about, our starting five. Like, everybody can figure out how to share the game and play together.
Ma'am, obviously you talked a lot about Davion and another great performance tonight. And during his presser, Norman was screaming first team in terms of the defense. And can you kind of talk about your thoughts on that, if he should be in, and also just his performance tonight?
I mean, not only Davion, but Andrew Wiggins. We're putting together a starting five, and where it's hard to figure out what scheme we're running defensively because we're so active. And like I said, Davion's the head of the snake because he's the first crack when it's on the point guard, and then it goes to Wig, and then it's to me, and then we rotate from there, and then you got Tyler and Norm playing in the passing lane. So, we're figuring this thing out. But like I said before, man, we're an active group when we're all locked in.
Just staying on Davion for a second. What has made him such a good setup guy for both the starting group and also in the change to the system?
It just makes it easy for him. You're not doing a lot of play calls. You're not trying to figure out, like, who needs the ball. Like, this offense is built for him. Like, we have the number one pace. All of us run, but, like, he's the head of the snake. When Davion gets the ball and he gets up the court, like, it's literally might be 3 dribbles. And that just puts defenses on their heel because obviously he can get downhill. He'll shoot a quick layup, and, people got to respect that. So, and then when defense collapse, he just makes it easy. Like, stop on 2 feet and then hit the open person.
Bam, you obviously turned a lot of your short roll free throw stuff into more off-the-catch stuff, perimeter stuff with this new offense. Success to the offensive side, just how much, I guess, have you enjoyed this role for you in terms of just getting your shots in different spots?
It's hard to scheme because there's not a lot of pick and rolls. So it's like I could be on the wing, I could be at the top of the key, I can be in the corner, I can be short corner. So it's giving me different ways to figure out where my shot chart is coming from.
Guys just hitting threes, or was it that was the shot you guys went into this game saying the way they defend, we can get those? Sort of, what was the 3-for-all like during that first half especially?
I think just working the game, honestly, taking what the defense is giving us. We talked and watched film. Yesterday we came in after, what was the game before Detroit? Milwaukee? Yeah, we came in after the Milwaukee game, watched film just on how, especially in that starting unit, how we can make plays for each other and play off one another's skill set. And I thought Detroit, we did a good job, especially late in that game, moving the ball and working the offense and feeding off our defense. And then I think the defensive side of the ball today, making a statement. We didn't like how we played in those first 3 quarters the game before. And our presence was able to open up the offense and give us those looks from 3.
Norm, it was obviously a collective effort, but you just in the locker room were talking about Davion, first team. Can you just kind of talk about his impact on the team and tonight as well?
It's huge, man. Just the energy and the effort and the multiple efforts that he gives every single night on the defensive end. Guarding their best player and taking the challenge, picking them up full court, being physical, fighting through screens, sacrifices his body. He's kind of the head of the snake in the energy and the effort, and we feed off of him making those plays every single night. He's taking that challenge and he's doing a hell of a job with that. I think he has a chip on his shoulder. And I mean, I've been playing against Davion for a long time. Even in the summer, he's the same way. He takes the challenge, wants to guard the best player and pick up and work on his game. He's a student of the game, but yeah, he's definitely first team. If they don't have him in first team, something's wrong.
Spo said it was a good response by the starters today. You kind of touched on it. What do you feel like you guys did better, and what's been the process of you 4 have played a lot together for the season, but of integrating Tyler and making that work?
I thought we did a great job just off the ball, being active, not giving them easy looks. Like I said, Davion pressuring, Wiggs battling with Kawhi in the post and Bam handling Zoo. I thought me and Tyler did a great job just being activated, stunting on him, faking on him, not making them have a straight line or making them make second or third decisions with the ball. But I thought us as a unit did a great job with that. Whoever had the ball, somebody was in the shrink spot helping, faking, and being physical. I thought we did a great job with that. We set the tone to come out to start the game, and then especially in that third quarter coming out of halftime.
Norm, I know your focus is here and on this team, and I get all that and respect it, of course. Mm-hmm. When you look at the Clippers, and could you ever have imagined this from that group? There's a lot of guys over there that obviously are going to Springfield. And they're 5 and 16. It's probably not what anybody expected.
Yeah, for sure. Especially we talked about it today. Just the makeup and the careers that especially Kawhi and James have had. Not missing the playoffs, been on winning teams. So there's a lot of stuff that they got to figure out. I think obviously the injuries and things like that. Kind of make it hard for them to get a rhythm and figure out their identity and how they want to be every single night. Always having to switch up. But I wouldn't have never guessed that they were going to be 5 and 16 and where they're at right now. That's something for them to have to deal with and handle. But I'm not worried about them anymore. Yeah.
Norm, back to Davion for a second. I mean, tonight you guys are shooting crazy well, but for the season in general, what's made him such a good setup guy, specifically for the starting unit within the system that you guys are running?
Honestly, I just think understanding and knowing the system, and knowing his role, and then being really comfortable in that role. And I think the play style, fits him perfectly. Being able to push the pace, attack, and then we got shooters and playmakers around him. So he's just distributing and then being able to take the attacks and stuff that are in front of him, and he's doing a great job reading the game. And he gets really mad at himself when he gets turnovers. So I think that as well helps. He's very focused and a step ahead of what the defense is doing and where we're going to be, and trusting that we're going to be in our spots. And we're doing a great job just playing off of him. I mean, he's so fast getting down in the paint now. He draws all the eyes, and now we're just moving without the ball, and he's finding us, and we're able to knock down those shots.
You have a lot of big personalities in that locker room, and then there's Wiggs. Mm-hmm. As quiet as anyone around here. What does that say about who he is, that he just goes out and does his job, and maybe if he doesn't want to, can you amplify what he's done for you guys this season?
I mean, Wiggs is amazing. Like you said, he's quiet, he's to himself, but he works. He knows the game. He has a versatile skill set. I think he flies under the radar on the promotion of what he's able to do. But he's always quiet and he gets the job done. You know, I think you have to have a mix of guys who are like that. You know, able to step up in big moments because they've been there. They're that type of player, but also play a role really well. And I think he's been able to do that, especially being with Golden State, learning from those guys, learning how to play the system, and understanding where his spots are going to be. And it's fully showcasing now. You know, especially with him being able to guard so many different guys every single night and being able to get out in transition. It really opens up his game. But I think he's surrounded by a lot of guys who can, you know, bring the emotional side and stuff out of him, but while being able to be himself. But I've always loved Wiggs. I talk to him a lot. If you need a good laugh, you know, he always has a nonchalant response. This is always funny.
Norm, so many people are making about Tyler Hero coming back and your guys fit. 3 games in now, just like how do you feel it all worked today, and does it feel like it's getting more comfortable?
Yeah, I think it's getting more comfortable for all of us. You know, every single game is going to be a little different in the flow and how it goes. You know, Bam started off really hot, getting it going, so feeding him, and then Wiggs was getting going, especially early in that first quarter. You know, so it's all about all of us. So, you know, picking our spots and playing off of one another. We play so fast and have so many possessions that, you know, everybody's going to be able to get their touches and find their moments throughout the course of the game. But I think our focus being on the defensive end and being able to get stops and get out in transition kind of fuels everybody, and everybody's kind of able to get going. And, you know, tonight's really good. I mean, all of us scored in double figures, over 15. So, I mean, it's really good when you have so many offensive guys that can, you know, get you a bucket throughout the course of the games in different moments that we can go to and rely on. But I think the more and more we play together, understand, you know, all of our spots and where we like to have the ball, we're just going to keep growing, and the scoring's going to keep coming in bunches. But our focus in that unit is definitely going to be on the defensive end.
You mentioned it there, but when Bam and Wiggs are attacking like that early, do you see, I guess, the defense shifting in a way where it could open up you and Tyler on the edges? Just how do you see that evolving?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think especially the way I've come out to start the season, and Tyler being back the way he came out off of his injury, you know, you got guys really denying us. We got their best defenders. They're really not in the gap, so it opens up, you know, more of those attacking, driving angles for really everybody, Wiggs, Bam, D. Mitch. They're really getting and put pressure on the paint, you know, and as those guys get going and rolling, and then it opens up because now they got to help, and now me and Tyler are moving without the ball. Now we're playing out of closeouts, and now we're able to get to our stuff. Appreciate it.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't know. Look, it doesn't have to be that. Obviously, every night for us, you know, as long as we're aggressive and taking open shots and playing at the appropriate pace, you know, I think it's also important to, you know, read the game. You know, we've had games where we've had 70-plus in the paint and a lot of shots at the rim. This team does a great job, you know, protecting the rim, and I thought we took the right shots. It always helps if it goes down, but you have to trust the process on that. And, you know, the bigger story, I think, was the defensive activity through, you know, the first 3 quarters-ish. I loved what the starters brought from an energy standpoint. Davion on the ball, but, you know, he's so unique and tough on the ball against, you know, some of the best players in the league. And then Wiggs and Bam were so active also, and I thought Tyler and Norm did a very good job, and either on the weak side or when they were called up into screens. It was really good to see the starters respond, you know, the way they did. I really liked what they did at the start of the third quarter too. Now obviously, you know, you want to see the second unit, you know, put that game away, you know, at the end of the third and beginning of the fourth. But those are high-class challenges, and hopefully we have a lot more of those that we can work through.
We've asked you this before, but how important is Davion's playmaking, just that starting group again tonight with the 12 assists?
Yeah, it's the pace. You know, every time there was an opportunity for us to extend a lead in the open court, he was just making all the right reads. You know, the kick-ahead passes, the cross-court passes, pushing it, you know, getting in the paint and kicking out. And then, you know, when they were scrambled and then a big was closing on him, He knocked down his threes. He really helps what we're trying to do. He gets it, he understands it, and then he can execute it. And he's fast. He's fast as heck, and he really wants to set guys up. A perfect example of that, is when he's trying to get Norm. Those threes at the end of the second quarter. Like, he feels the momentum of the game, and then he has that feel that all great point guards have of getting you guys open shots, to really extend a lead.
Coach, you mentioned that defensive activity and Wiggins was kind of everywhere tonight. It's in both sides of the ball. Can you just kind of talk about what you saw from him and just how comfortable he's been this season?
Yeah, he's having a great year. He's really putting in the work behind the scenes. He prepared himself, this summer, but even throughout, the season, he's putting in the work. And I just think he's one of the elite two-way players, two-way wings in this league. What he can do defensively is special, to be able to guard 1 through 5. And he's in great shape, so he's able to make multiple efforts. And they do it in such a unique way. But then offensively, he's a tough cover because you get him in the open court and he gets downhill. He's a great finisher. He's athletic, but also these, drives, within what we're doing. He's a great finisher on the catch and goes, and he's gaining confidence. We want him to shoot his open threes. He's a great shooter, and it's all about a mindset for that, make or miss. But he's playing really good basketball.
Erik, what's it like getting ready for a team that has all the talent, a ton of names, great coach, and everybody can see it's just not working for whatever reason? They just haven't clicked yet. What's it like getting ready for a team when you know what the talent level is and it just, for whatever reason, it's just not happening?
Yeah, there's a fine line in this league. And particularly now where there's parity and way more teams going for it, and then you're seeing this new wave of teams that haven't necessarily been at the top of their conferences that see opportunity. You have a lot of younger, ambitious teams, but those are Hall of Famers over there. I mean, you could see what Kawhi was doing. I mean, we're yelling at our guys about the airspace, but it's not like he was wide open on those. So it was about us trying to respond. If we want to be a great team, you have to handle your business at home, and really good teams don't lose 2 in a row at home. So, that was a little bit more of our focus. And then also having a bounce-back game in terms of our defensive activity and playing way more to our identity, which we did, for the most part, tonight. Our guys respect, the Hall of Fame guys on that side. That definitely helps.
You've talked about Norm being that second side guy in the past. What do you think of the process earlier when it is Bam and it's Andrew kind of getting downhill and then setting up Tyler and Norm later on the edges? Just how valuable is that, I guess, for them setting the tone inside and then kind of letting them get going a little bit after?
Yeah, Davion and Bam can be your rugged, put the ball on the floor and, have contact and make the appropriate plays. And they're both willing passers on that. Wiggs has been such an efficient driver, for us. Our two best three-point shooters, without a doubt, are Norm and Tyler. So ultimately, as we start to get more of an understanding, we want those guys shooting those open threes. All the other guys can shoot your threes too. Like that's part of the deal. But ideally, the volume of the threes could be coming from Norm and Tyler. But they're both really good at putting the ball on the floor as well. So there's a little bit of a dance with that. That'll all, work itself out.
Have you been able to get any report on Pella and just what happened?
No, it's a sprained foot. He says that he'll be all right. Don't they all say that? But at least, the initial prognosis from him and the trainers are that, he should be okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.